Come with me to find the best vintage luxury stores in Kyoto. As with many cities in Japan, you will see a lot of the same brands pop up, and Brandoff is one of them. And it's definitely a classic place to go. They have such a big variety of brands and styles at so many different price points. You could find everything here from Loewe to classic Chanel bags, both vintage and new, as well as a lot of Louis Vuitton. I think definitely worth popping in if you're hoping to find a bag or maybe for a bag to find you. Next, we popped into Ragtag, and this is a great store for a mix of different things. So they've got beautiful handbags, but they also have such a huge selection of designer clothing, both high and mid-range. So definitely worth popping into just to see what they have. I think it's a bit of a thrifter's paradise. We then went into the main shopping street, which was called Teramachi Gyokoku. Here they had a lot of different styles of shops, so not just luxury, but they did have a Kindle store, and this was the first time I saw Burberry trench coats available. The pricing was pretty good, but most of them were men's cuts, and I found that the sizing was just a little bit too oversized for my style. They also had a great selection of handbags to have a look at and also a lot of luxury clothing. So the pricing was actually very, very decent, and they had all sorts of high-end luxury brands and mid-level luxury brands as well. If you have the time and you love to thrift, Kindle was definitely worth it, and you could get some great deals on different types of clothing. Next up was Salamanca Vintage, and this was Burberry trench coat heaven. They had so many different styles, cuts, colors, and the pricing was really, really decent. I would say anywhere from 300 to 1,000 Australian dollars. They also had a great selection of vintage handbags, and upstairs they had so many other brands. This Max Mara coat was just over $1,000 and in such great condition. Look at all these beautiful vintage Miu Miu bags. I remember the chokehold this bag had on me in 2012. JB Works was mostly watches, but they also had some handbags worth popping into if you were looking at watches but also curious about what handbags they have. Pricing wasn't too bad, maybe a little bit more expensive than what I'd seen in other stores. We then popped into Labo just to have a look, but they had the most beautiful store, and you can get a coffee out the back and just enjoy this beautiful garden. Definitely worth a visit. We went to Decouverté, probably pronounced that wrong, and they had such a beautiful selection of vintage handbags. I think worth a visit if you're in the area. We then went to the second Salamanca Vintage location because I really wanted to see what Burberry trench coats they had available. I did ask them if they would negotiate on price, which they did, so worth asking if you pop in there. They had beautiful bags, and I may have come home with something.